drag queen, or perhaps you're gay. Is there a point to all these fancy clothes, with all these buckles from your head down to your toes? It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Is there something that you're trying to prove, with all the makeup and the way you move? Are you looking for some sympathy? No, I'm trying to be the best girl I can be. Very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Like my martini stride, cosmos I won't deny. Smoke those long cigarettes. Thank God I'm not dead yet. Done all these crazy things, short of a wedding ring. Just a
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Calista Solon, and this is NLC Trans. Tonight, I'm here with my friends Tara and Stacy, as usual. And we have a special guest tonight, who is actually our activities director for the Tall Group, Renee Benoit. And we're going to try to embarrass her heavily shortly. But anyway, before we do too much, I want to talk just a little bit. Today, obviously, and this is the reason why probably there's nobody out there watching us, but tonight, this is Inauguration Day, which is really exciting. This is certainly an historic day. We have our first black president, and this is very, very cool. I know this is a big deal for a lot of people, the fact that Obama is black. Personally, I'm very excited about the fact that we actually have somebody with a brain in the White House. Well, at least since Hillary
chair.
Yeah, since Hillary left, we haven't had much. But it's nice. This is a very, very bright man, Obama, and I have really high hopes for the next 4 to 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, this bodes well for the GLBT community, I think. I mean, he's taken a stand in support of basic human dignity for us. He grasps that, I think.
Yeah, he's certainly had a different perspective than past presidents, and that's really exciting. So this could be a really good thing, and I'm really pleased about this. So.
He's also, I think, our first urban president, and I believe he's the first president of mixed parenthood.
Yeah,
you know, he's the
whole
first.
Bunch of
he's
things.
the first a lot of things.
Yeah. Now, if we could just get him to change his gender,
he'd be the first trans.
He would be the first trans president, as well as the first woman president, and he would be the first black woman president. That's pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
There's the potential for a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out that he can be transgendered without actually having to change his sex and become, classified as transsexual.
True.
And that may not be true if you count Herbert Hoover.
Right. But anyway, it's very exciting, and I have really high hopes for Obama, and I think this is going to be a really cool thing. I'm excited about this. So,
well, he's also a president that values empirical evidence and science and reason. He's bringing that back to the White House, frankly.
That's
too.
very cool. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But on that, I actually did point out there was. Being that he became president today, the president's office, his administration posted some of the things that they're looking to work on, and one of the categories was support for the LGBT community.
Wow.
And so, day one.
Day one, wow. Bravo.
They have bulleted a couple things here. Actually, I'll read the quote that Barack Obama made last year. He said, while we have come a long way since the Stonewall riots in 1969, we still have a lot of work to do. Too often, the issue of LGBT rights is exploited by those seeking to divide us. But at its core, this issue is about who we are as Americans. It's about whether this nation is going to live up to the founding promise of equality by treating all its citizens with dignity and respect. And that's what you were articulating.
Wow.
They have bulleted And these are all very exciting, actually, for us, too. Expanding hate crime status. It says, in 2004, crimes against LGBT Americans constituted the third highest category of hate crime reported and made up more than 15% of such crimes. President Obama co-sponsored legislation that would expand federal jurisdiction to include violent hate crimes perpetrated because of race, color, religion, natural origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or physical disability. Fight workplace discrimination through supporting the anti-discrimination employment, where he would include sexual orientation and gender identity. Support full civil unions and federal rights for LGBT couples. Opposing the constitutional ban on same-sex marriage. Repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Expanding adoption rights. He thinks that a child will benefit from a healthy, loving home whether the parents are gay or not. Promoting AIDS prevention and empowering women to prevent HIV/AIDS. Those are the categories under LGBT community.
That's very cool. I'm even more glad that I voted for him. We have a call. Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air.
Hello?
Maybe not. Why don't try that again? Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air.
We're having trouble.
We're having a problem. Okay, hold.
I'm just barely hearing that.
Yeah, stand by. We're having technical difficulties here, so just hold on. Don't hang up.
Something that Father Russ is probably interested in as well, he also articulated other civil rights goals. Combat employment discrimination, end deceptive voting practices, end racial profiling, reduce crime recidivism by providing ex-offender support, eliminating sentencing disparities, and expanding use of drug courts.
Cool. And thanks, Joe. We'll figure out how to work the phone someday.
It's because of the power outage.
Because of the power. That's right. You guys lost power today. Okay. So anyway, we're going to try this. I'm sorry? I'm not sure. I'm going to try this again. Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air. I got nothing. Well, if you hung up, call back, and maybe we can make it work. Apparently there's a power outage here today at the station, and
They have some residual issues.
yeah, so sorry about that. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Yep. The other thing I have here were some quotes taken from him that were along the same lines, very promising. In a statement published on the Presidential Transition website, Barack Obama and now Vice President Joe Biden committed themselves to strengthening federal hate crimes protection by passing the Matthew Shepard Act. The President-elect is also committed to support civil unions and federal rights for LGBT couples. Obama supports full civil unions that give same-sex couples legal rights and privileges equal to those of married couples. These rights and benefits include the right to assist a loved one in times of emergency, right to equal health insurance, and other employment benefits and property rights. Obama supports the Employment Non-Discrimination Act and believes that our anti-discrimination employment laws should be expanded to include sexual orientation and gender identity. He says discrimination should be prohibited. The U.S. government has spent millions of dollars, this is in part about Don't Ask, Don't Tell, spent millions of dollars replacing troops kicked out of the military because of their sexual orientation. Additionally, more than 300 language experts have been fired under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, including more than 50 who are fluent in Arabic. So I guess there's several military leaders that are actually kind of upset that highly qualified individuals are being kicked out of the service when they can't find enough of them in the first place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How many generals and admirals have retired and come out gay recently? And I think a number of them have.
Well, you have to probably take a look at it and say it's probably the same percentage as the general population.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
obviously couldn't come out as gay while they were in the military.
Yeah.
And the other thing I heard today that might be interesting, in Obama's inaugural speech, he mentioned that we're